Coming to you from the work desk, it's day 6 and it's time for a quick strike. Hello and welcome back to the Dohyo here on Mr. JWags channel. It is time for a quick strike, a small, amuse-bouche, tapa-sized episode that we release mid-Basho to keep us hungry for more sumo. But beware, for spoilers abound. If you have not watched through day 6 of the September 2025 tournament, stop! Watch through day 6, and then return to us. Now, this has been an absolute barn burner of a tournament, but before we get to the leaderboard, a quick Kyujo update. Maegashira 12, Takeru Fuji, and Juryo 3 Endo both went Kyujo prior to day 1 and have not appeared yet. We are not expecting them to appear yet. We just hope that they heal up and come on back to as healthy as ever. And I am getting reports today of an Intai. Makushita 7, Metodio, just handed in his Intai papers. He'd been in Makuuchi a few times in the past couple years, and his highest rank was Maegashira 13. Happy trails, Metodio. So, as of day 6, we have a leaderboard of 1. We have one undefeated wrestler, and it is Yokozuna Hoshodyu. Oh, this was not expected, but it is so good to see Hoshodyu just dominating the way he's been dominating these first 6 days. He has looked confident, he has looked fast, he has looked strong. I cannot remember him looking this good in recent memory. So while things are looking very optimistic for Hoshodyu's third Yusho, we're still a little early. Remember that he hasn't faced exactly the best of the best to this moment. He's only faced one Sanyaku member so far, and of course it's the only Sanyaku member currently without a win after 6 days. And his combined record of his opponents is 9-27. So I'm expecting a few losses to get in there, but right now we are looking at an undefeated Yokozuna on day 6, and that is never a bad thing unless you're one of the other wrestlers. One win down in a giant cluster of people tied for second place at 5-1. We have Yokozuna Onosato, Ozeki Kotozakura, Maegashira 4 Wakamoto Haru, Maegashira 7 Takanosho, Maegashira 8 Uda, Maegashira 10 Chura no Umi, Maegashira 11 Shodai, and Maegashira 16 Tomikaze. I do have to say, it's been really nice to see both of our Yokozuna excelling so well. Of course, there was one Kimboshi given up by Onosato to Hakuoho, and that seems to be a budding rivalry I'm looking forward to exploring over the next few years. But other than that, Onosato has looked largely in control. I'm not going to complain about a 5-1 on day 6. He's still on track to do very, very well down the stretch. And yeah, unlike some of my previous Yusho picks, he has not yet crapped the bed by day 6. So I think there's still an excellent chance for Onosato to lift the cup in September. Kotozakura is looking better than I've seen him look possibly since last November when he brought home the cup. I would love it if he could stay healthy and make an actual Yusho push. But right now, frankly, I'm just happy it looks like he's not going to be trying to claw his way to an 8-7. He's looking very strong, and even though he's on the easier half of his schedule, he's still looking very good. He's only lost to Aonishiki at this point, who's a fairly formidable opponent. Yeah, I would love to see him keep this up, but I expect he's going to taper off a bit in the second week, and maybe we'll see him at around 10 or 11 wins. Now, I was worried about Wakamoto Haru before this tournament. We talked about it a little bit in the predictions. But yeah, he hadn't been looking very good recently. I think he's only had one winning record so far this year. Well, he looks to be back on track. Now, he has only faced Maegashira to this point, but included in those Maegashira are former Sanyaku Hirado Umi, our returning champion Kota Shoho, and young Phenom Kusano. So yeah, it seems to be that this could be sustainable into the second week, although I'm not quite sure we're going to see him on the leaderboards going into the final weekend. Now, Maegashira 7, Takanosho, he has been somewhat of a sumo yo-yo for the past few years, but at Maegashira 7 seems to be doing very, very well. Has not been super tested yet. He gets Wakamoto Haru today, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I could actually see a healthy and motivated Takanosho being on the leaderboard up till the end, but if he does get promoted exceptionally aggressively, I wouldn't expect him to hang around, but he has surprised me before, so a relatively healthy Takanosho is a formidable opponent. Remember, he does have 3 career Junusho. Now, you all know I love Ura, but let's just pause for a second. While I love Ura in my soul, that love does not necessarily come from a dominance on the Dohyo. Now, Ura, oddly enough, just always seems to be hanging out in the middle of Maegashira, but he never seems to have like an amazing tournament. He never seems to have like a crap the bed tournament. He always seems to be just sort of like happily in the middle, beatifically smiling in his cherry blossom pink mawashi. Now, I looked it up. Ura's only had double-digit wins twice, one going back to May 2017, and the most recent one was November of 2021. So I don't think this is going to be like a Yusho push for Ura, but wouldn't that be so much fun? Now, Chuda no Umi and Shodai. We got two vets who are looking very good in the first week. They have had some recent success up in Makauchi, but I'm not expecting this to last very long. Would love to eat my words on this, especially because like we haven't seen some really great sumo out of Shodai in a while, but yeah, I'm not expecting them to be pushing through the second week. But I am very excited that Maegashira 16 Tomikaze looks to have completed his Makauchi comeback and looks like he's ready to stay for a while. At 5-1, that's looking really, really good. He looks to be remarkably mobile considering his past injuries. And some of you who may be new don't remember when Tomikaze first like shot his way up the Bansuke and then got like injured right before he made Sanyaku. It was heartbreaking. It's just so nice to see him back and wrestling well. So we're hoping Tomikaze finishes this one real strong and sticks around Makauchi for a while. Now, one win down from the 5-1 at 4-2, we have some select wrestlers I'd like to talk about. Sekiwake Waka Takakage had a couple early stumbles, but has managed to right the ship to get to 4-2. Still on that Ozeki run. We're hoping for an 11-4, but I do think if he really tears it up in the second week, they might look at a 10-5 promotion, but like, we're still on track for 11, so we're just hoping that he has a great second week like he had last time. Sekiwake Kirishima was looking amazing through the first 2 days, and not so amazing the last two. Again, the problem seems to be consistency with Kirishima, but I am hoping he still gets that 10-5. He doesn't look hurt. He just looks not fully as good as we've seen him look before, especially in the last 2 days. Sanyaku debutante Komusubi Aonishiki also 4-2, and I think some people are like disappointed that he's only 4-2 after 6 days. He's been doing great. He has fought well in every single match, had a couple tough losses, but remember, as a Komusubi, he's largely going to have all of his tough opponents in the first week. So if he can get through day 8 with like a 5-3, I'd say then he has excellent odds to finish with his like 4th consecutive 11-4 and keep that Ozeki run going into November. But he does still have to face Wakataka Kage and Hoshoryu. Now we have a few wrestlers sort of at the bottom of the leaderboard that I am a bit worried about. Currently, with 0 wins between them, we have Komusubi Takayasu, Maegashira 1 Abi, and Maegashira 16 West Nishikigi. Yeah, I'm a little worried about this. Gonoyama's in there too, but I feel like that's just he's a little overranked. But these other 3, it feels like something is wrong. Now, I was not expecting Takayasu to do great in this tournament. I was thinking if he finished it, it would be like a 6-9. But right now, he is not looking healthy at all. And we might be expecting a Kyujo announcement coming up for the second week. I know Abi has recently come off of some elbow surgery, but the last tournament, he seemed like at least he was able to like gut his way through the tournament and pick up some like scrappy wins. But this tournament, it just feels like he's getting very, very little forward momentum. Also, would not be surprised if we get a Kyujo announcement out of him. Nishikigi, oddly enough, I am not expecting a Kyujo from, because if he goes Kyujo, he's gonna go deep, deep, deep into Judo, and I don't think he wants that. Unless he turns it around, he's definitely going to be headed back on the midnight train to Judo. So we're just hoping these guys can pick up the pace just a little bit in the second week. And I'm not expecting winning records out of any of them, but if they could at least just mitigate the drop they are all going to be receiving in the next tournament. A little worried about Maegashira 10 Daisho at 1-5. I was hoping that he was at least partially recovered from the calf injury that knocked him out of the last tournament. And I was hoping he'd sort of like hold serve here in low Maegashira, and then next tournament he'd come back full strength and like maybe a dark horse Yusho pick for November. But right now it looks like he just needs to fight real hard to hold his spot in Makauchi. Not looking very good, not getting a lot of forward motion. Lost a real heartbreaker today to Mitake Yumi. The heart is there, but the body doesn't seem to be agreeing with him at the moment. I'm hoping we have not seen the last of good Daisho sumo. And 2 younger guys who I'm a little surprised by, our returning champion, Maegashira 5 Kota Shoho, and our returning Jun Yusho and multiple special prize winner, Maegashira 6 Kusano. Now, with Kota Shoho, what we said before the tournament, no one really knows what the true ceiling is because he's had so many injury issues. Well, it looks like the injury issues are back. I'm now seeing tape on both the right and the left legs, which is not boding well. He started 2-4 against a largely Maegashira group of opponents. So yeah, it looks like that 10-5 I thought might be the ceiling for this tournament was looking a little optimistic. So let's hope he can just like rally in the second week and get in maybe an 8-7. But right now it's not looking great. I'm a little less worried about Kusano at Maegashira 6. He's faced only Maegashira as well, but they've been Maegashira who've been doing relatively well so far. His opponents collectively have been 23-13 this tournament so far, so I'm expecting that these have just been a few tough matches, and now that, especially since he's sort of like on, he has a losing record, he's probably not going to be promoted to face the best possible opponents in week 2, but I would expect Kusano to pull this out and get a winning record with a good, solid week 2. And I would note that Kusano and Kota Shoho are fighting today. So this tournament, even though we're only 6 days in, is shaping up to be a classic. Please like and subscribe if you haven't yet. We're going to do at least one more quick strike before the tournament is over. And then, of course, all of our amazing post-Basho coverage you're not going to want to miss. Yeah, stick around for this Basho. This one's going to be a really good one. All right. Thank you so much for joining us on this quick strike.